the Instagram, the Facebook messages. Everybody's trying to find out what just happened in the industry today. And if you're with us, we're going to talk about it from how we got started to today to what the future is going to look like. With that being said, let me just kind of jump right into it. Gaytan, you and I, man, we've been here from the beginning, cubicle buddies to then office buddies to then opening our own offices and being in that historic meeting with Pat to what we've done today, being one of 3 major companies to start from scratch, get to this level, and to partner, to get acquired. Man, bring us back on what that was like in the beginning till today and what's on your mind and how you're feeling, man.
Hey, it's George, man, my partner, man, in business, my brother from another mother. Goes back to Northridge, California, man, when we met. It was actually North Hills where we met. And I remember, meeting Patrick. I'll never forget that opportunity when I met Patrick. And we were part of another firm. And then I got a chance to go to the office here in North Hills. We meet. I meet you. Eventually I met Cindy and then Vargas and then Mario, of course. And we built a relationship. And I remember our CEO, when I met Pat, it was always about a vision. Him selling us the vision about one day what's going to happen. And then we start PHP Agency where we have nothing but faith. And he had nothing but faith, mainly him. We had to borrow his faith, a vision, a big dream. We had no insurance carriers. We have nothing. But we said, hey, we're starting the company. And we just followed the lead. We bought into something. Most people don't understand that. There's a book called Accidental Millionaire. And you read about the stories of Steve Jobs and Wozniak and these guys starting the company, or you read about the beginning of Home Depot, you read about the beginning of Apple Computer and all these other companies. And you read about that, you think to yourself, one day, can that really be me? But when you're among like-minded people that are risk takers like yourself, myself, and Mason and Vargas, that picture that we have of some of the co-founders being led by a lion, the old quote says that if a lion can speak, no one would understand him. That was our CEO, Patrick and Jen. They casted a vision. We just bought in. And the great thing about it, George, is that we were naive. And it wasn't logical. It was just emotion. It was just like, man, I got your back. You got my back. We're going to start a company from scratch. And my wife and I, we had a conversation when Pat called that shot. I said, babe, I'm broke. I know you're broke right now. We have nothing to lose. Let's start a company with Patrick, because we believed in him, a man of character, a man of faith. He introduced us to Shepherd of the Hills Church, Pastor Dudley. I just knew Pat was grounded. I knew Pat was rare. I knew he was an original guy. And I bought into that friendship, bought into the vision. And you and I have been locking arms since day one, since we started the company. Then we meet Sapaula. Welcome back, Sapaula. You're back. And Sheena, and they came on board and took the company to a whole nother level. So it's just been freaking awesome. It's been very humbling to know. We were just in a meeting last week with Brian and the rest of the team, and we'll meet Tom Dempsey, who leaves another company to be part of this company. And we're like, wow, full circle. When he casted the vision and said, one day we're going to do X, Y, Z and be the biggest financial marketing company in the industry. And now we get a chance to partner with a name like Integrity with similar values and principles. It's exciting to know that we were part of the beginning, and know that if you have faith and you have an opportunity, you have leadership, the sky's the limit. And we're just getting warmed up right now. We're just getting started. So many emotions, George. Excited. I want to hear what you have to say about the opportunity, as well as Sapaula.
Yeah, man. When we started in that room, it was to where it is today. There's a lot of people. I was saying we were having the conversation just a little while ago that, there's a lot of people when we started PHP didn't believe in the vision of PHP. And, if you look at what we've done to go from 0 to over 25,000 licensed agents, the numbers that we're doing today in the annuity business, Bamboo, the software development, industry leading software development. You look at this company, and I know last year, right, Integrity, over $1 billion in EBITDA, right? And you look at what they're doing. You look at their market presence, over 6,000 employees, over 400,000 licensed agents with all their different companies that are part of that group, Integrity Marketing Group. And you look at a company like that, right? They just had one of their companies invested, $1 billion of capital into it because they see what's going on. For them to look at PHP and say, hey, in the history of all our acquisitions, that we're going to go and say, you're going to be one of the biggest, one or two, and say, hey, we see where you're going, and we want to be able to add fuel to the fire. We're excited for the partnership. When getting a chance to visit their headquarters in Dallas and be there with Brian, and just the vision of what these guys have done, the size of the company, their technology platform, the carriers, over 495 carriers, if we've done what we've done as PHP with just a few companies, 10, 15, 12, 13, 14, 15 carriers in term, UL, IUL, index annuities, like to compete in the marketplace with just that, it's like going to war with a pocket knife and a gun, and you're fighting this industry, and we've dominated with that. Like what we're about to do, the industry it hasn't seen it. It hasn't seen it. There's a lot of companies that have a lot of resources. PHP now has the biggest, gangster backing with resources. We're about to compete, and people didn't believe that, but we believed in each other. We believed in Patrick, obviously his vision. We believed in each other's commitment. And I was saying earlier, it's that underdog story, Rudy, Rocky, the underdog, man. Everybody wants to do something where they make history, and we've made history, and we're about to make history at the next level. Excited to be in business with you guys, what you guys have done with TGA, the size of the business. And then when Matt and Sheena came on board, getting it to where it's at today. The industry's looking for leaders, man, and they're looking for what company it is, and it's PHP. So for the guys that are watching today, you couldn't be at a better place, at a better company, at a better time, with the opportunity to still get equity, in that company, in IMG this year through the PHP equity program, to become a marketing director, to open new territories. You're in the best place with PHP. Everybody's calling. I've been getting nonstop text messages, Facebook, Instagram, team messages. What just happened? What does this mean? Hey, can we have a conversation? Those things are starting to happen because people are looking and they're saying, wow, that a couple pieces I needed to be able to come here. There's a lot of guys that have companies where they're looking to say, hey, how do we partner with PHP, take advantage of all the leadership, the support, IMG, the resources? How can we come under this umbrella and just go attack the industry together? So Sapaula, glad to have you back. Our host of the PHP podcast, brother. Please, you're from the industry. You've been around the block. You've seen these things happen in your life. Give us that perspective for us, as partners, and also for the new agents.
Yes, and I appreciate everybody's patience. I'm actually out here in Orlando, Florida, not in my usual Dallas, Texas. We're doing an MMA, a mastermind alliance meeting here with LMT, John Mason's organization, one of the co-founders of PHP. My story is a little different. My story is a little different than many of you who are co-founders of the company, because George, as you had mentioned, I've been part of the insurance industry for 14 years previous to PHP. I spent 11, 12 years as an independent producer, buying leads and doing dinner seminars, and I spent 3.5 years, 4 years there at Transamerica World Financial Group, and we made the move over here in December, January 2015, December 14, January 15, 2015, to come to PHP Agency. And when we came to PHP Agency, I mean, you guys were what, 5, 6 years old, 1,000 people probably at best in a big event. I remember in the gala night, which is really our largest night. It was one room, and everybody had their own table, their own circle table. You go to our convention these days. We're at the MGM Grand Arena, which, by the way, we'll be bringing up here in a second. And I'm just excited about this conversation. I remember Patrick reaching out to me in November of 2009, literally 3 weeks after you guys started the company, because of the conversation I had with Pastor Dudley Rutherford. I think Gaytan brought up his name of Shepherd of the Hills Church. And so my story is much different. And hopefully it relates to many of you that thinking that, wow, two thoughts here. The people that like yourselves that started this company from scratch, brand new. What a great day it is for you guys. What an amazing day. And for second, the amazing day for many of you are looking at PHP Agency and say, hey, can I still come to this company and be a big part and and compete and hey, can I challenge a Matt Sapaula? Can I challenge a Jose Gaytan? Can I challenge a George Pelayo for top spot at PHP? The short answer is yes. I'm living proof of that. You know, we came out of nowhere and became the first $1 million point base shop of the entire company and first $1 million earners of the company, because this culture is based on capitalism, not seniority. This is an entrepreneurial environment where if you decide to outwork anybody, you out hustle, you out strategize, you outlast anybody, you can pass yours truly up. Anybody that you're seeing on the screen, you can pass them up. And, you know, oftentimes we get that because people think from an employee perspective or some former sales companies that they're part of, that the person at the top is always going to be at the top. Not in our environment. Any veteran can get knocked off by any rookie. And we're going to be seeing that at the MGM Grand Arena at our annual convention coming up here August 10th through the 13th in Las Vegas. I want to share this real quick. This is the announcement. This is Integrity Marketing Group's website right here, Integrity Marketing Group. And the news of the day today, July 20th, is an announcement to accelerate the growth and serve more people. So over its 15-year history, PHP Agency has become famous for its energetic approach and youthful look, out inspired by their founder, Patrick Bet-David. Okay. Although the Texas FMO has grown rapidly, its leaders know the priorities to serve the life, health, and wealth protection needs of American families and are practically limitless. That's why they've chosen to partner with Integrity. By adding Integrity's extensive technology, products, and services to their own systems and processes, PHP Agency can better serve the needs of agents, advisors, and consumers. It's a winning combination all around. So, George, let's fire back to you, George. Why are you excited about this partnership? What resources, what systems and processes are you excited about with this acquisition and strategic partnership?
You know, when we started PHP, there was do we add a broker dealer? Do we add these other products, right? Because that's what everybody was doing in the industry. And sometimes you don't understand, like, you know, people were like, well, why don't we add this? Why don't we add this? And Pat's like, listen, let's go build the army, get them to focus and master one thing so that their focus isn't so much 15 different areas, and they can go build an army. Once the army's big, then you can add new skill sets, new tools, new weapons to the, you know, to each person. And I think that a lot of people that thought that was a weakness, like, oh, you guys only do life products. You guys only do, you know, term, UL, IUL, whole life, you know, index annuities. And that part, they didn't understand what the vision was of the company to go build an army. And Bruce Lee has a quote. He says, I'm more afraid of the man that can do one kick 400 times than a man that can do 400 different kicks one time. You know, our guys are experts in the insurance space. And we've gotten to the size of the company, the income, the earnings, the builders, the earners with just those products. So, you know, it's a whole other arsenal of weapons, right? Things that we can do to help people. Reality is we're going to be able to help that client now in 2, 3, 4, 5 other areas that as of a day ago, we were not. And so what does that do for people's income? How many more watch earners? How many more ring earners? How many more $250,000, $500,000, $1 million earners? How many more people can we get on this crusade of financial independence when reality, there's so much opportunity in the marketplace to create wealth today because things are going on a discount, but the rest of the people, they're struggling financially because they're not in a position to control their income. When you write your own check every week based on your effort, right, you also write your future. And so I'm excited, Sapaula, from the product standpoint as to what we're going to introduce to the field. And that's why MGM is going to be a show of shows.
Yes.
And people are going to sit there and be blown away about what's happening and how the next 6 months of their life leaving MGM, their life's going to change. That's what I'm really excited about. How much the agent's life is going to change, how much people we're going to be able to help in areas that we weren't able to before. Yeah. And then I'm also excited about the technology aspect of what they're bringing to the table, then any kind of enhancements, the future of being a part of, you know, being able to have equity in a billion-dollar company, a multi-billion-dollar company that's private today. You know, what's that future look like? What's that opportunity look like? Like, and there's certain things we don't know what it's going to happen, what's the future is for IMG. But when you're dominating the entire industry, and every insurance carrier, every FMO, every IMO in the United States knows who you are, it's because you're making a wave. So if there's ever been a part of a time through the PHP equity program that we have for the rest of this year to go get equity, or, for people that are looking and saying, man, I had a conversation with the guy. He's like, I'd love to come, but I have a book of business under, money under management, whatnot. Yep. And can I do that there? I said, I'll call you on Wednesday, because it wasn't a public. But we're about to bring some teams over. We're about to build new earners. We're about to bring some companies into the fold that say, hey, I want to be a part of the leading IMO in the United States. That's right. So
that's a profound thing. It's called strategic partnership. Jose, what about you? What are you most excited about? The access, the resources, the systems, the processes. What are you excited about this strategic partnership?
There's so many different agents today that are coming on board. This is, when you look at this platform today, we're long ways from the time that George and I, when the company got started, we were just trying to get an insurance carrier. So the opportunity that Pat always said, we're going to make it better and better and better for the newest agent, so they can become an entrepreneur, build your own agency within an agency. We just made it better for everybody. For the newest person, you understand the platform that we have, along with the backing of integrity, understand what that means for you. Because it wasn't like that. If it was like that when we got started, how much easier would it have been for us to start our business when we were just trying to, make money in the beginning, because we started a company from scratch. So think about, for you, the newest agent, the support, the systems, but then for the more of the senior people in the industry, if you realize how you partnering with a company like this, with all the opportunities and the technology that they're offering you as an agency owner, whether you're doing property and casualty, whether you're a real estate guy, or whether you're a small shop doing just basic life insurance, and you want to scale. For all the people that want to scale, Sapaula, as you know, you are a producer, you came here, you want to become a builder, you became a builder quickly, you and your wife. The opportunity to scale today is at a whole nother level. For those of you guys that we meet so many people that, as Kiyosaki would say, the quadrant, self-employed, you have, employee, self-employed, then you have business owner. So many people are in the S quadrant, and they don't know how to go from S to B because they don't have systems. So for all those people that are looking to scale, there's only one way: is follow a business and the company's got systems. And we've just scaled our systems. The next thing I'll tell you, Sapaula, is what inspired me many years ago when I first read the book Coach, and another company got, and many people know A.L. Williams and what Art did back in the day. Much respect to what he did back in the day, and how that company was sold to Citigroup, and then it became Primerica. And where they at today with the opportunity, their market cap, and then another company took off. We all know Hubert, who happens to be part of this company now, Integrity. And when you follow the connections of the industry from the beginning to some of the people that left and opened up other companies to now PHP, like George said, we're one of 3 companies only to scale at this level today. And now to know that one of the other guys, who's a legend in the industry, Hubert, is now also part of this company. And then you hear that a CEO from another respected company, Transamerica WFG, is now here with Integrity. And now you have our CEO, PBD, and what he's built and what we've been able to build with him. When you connect the dots and you think about the leaders of the industry, the leaders of the marketplace today, with the backing of Integrity of a privately held company valued at over $7-something billion, you should be very excited about what the future looks like for you, because you got to understand where you came from to know where you're going. And if you can dot everything together, so Paula, that's exciting for the newest person here. What's to come for your future?
What a massive input there. It's I'm excited about that part. It's what I'm thinking about. By the way, for those of you that still want to look at PHP as an opportunity, this is the last year for you to get stock equity ownership of PHP. I'm talking about the PHP family. This is last year. I mean, this is they're going to honor our stock equity program. So if you're here at PHP Agency and you have the opportunity to earn stock by becoming a marketing director in some marketers, you not only have ownership, have ownership in your own code number through this platform, through PHP's platform, but you get an opportunity now because our stock just became IMG stock, right? Our PHP stock just became IMG stock. And George brought up earlier, right now, their EBIT is $1 billion, right? So do you want 75% equity of a company that's doing, a couple $1 million, $10 million, $20 million a year? Or do you want to get a small piece of a company that's doing already $1 billion a year, right? And so when we're looking at opportunity of ownership, that's old money. That's where you become tomorrow's old money, but not only making a lot of money, but having equity ownership. Michael Jordan today is a billionaire because of his equity ownership in the Charlotte Hornets,
Right.
Because of his equity ownership in Jordan Corporation, where he gets paid $95 million a year, 1 year, which is more money than he made in his entire 14-year career playing basketball because of equity ownership. So it's just a different conversation here at PHP. It's an entrepreneur business conversation, and you're just not learning how to sell life insurance. That's a part of the conversation. Sure, easy. Learn how to sell life insurance, knock your socks off, build a business, build a book of business, build an agency. We're going to teach you how to think like an entrepreneur.
That's right.
You think like a business person.
And Sapaula, can I mention, man?
Yeah.
You're a proud Marine. We have Pelayo, real estate. Then you did a server at Red Lobster.
Yep.
I don't know if you were a proud server, but you're a server.
I was a proud server.
You were a proud server.
I was serving. I was very proud to serve our country lobster and fresh shrimp.
I was not a proud bill collector, calling people to go collect bills. That's where I come from. So we don't come from anything, guys. I mean, we come from, the Almighty, but we had an opportunity, guys. Like for the person I was watching, sometimes they think, oh my God, I can't do that. You guys have been in the game, or you guys, had an opportunity back then. I just hope people watch this and say, dude, these knuckleheads can do this. If they can stick this thing through, if they can be coachable and this noble old money industry to go out there and serve people. We don't sell, we serve. And you make a difference and you improve as an individual, as a leader. I've seen George become a leader of leaders. I respect him for what he's done. The Pelayo name. I've seen Sapaula and his wife become leader of leaders. And I hope they can say the same thing about me.
Of course.
Because we've been running together, guys, but we didn't start this way. And that's why it's so important that people understand like what could happen to the future in the next 12 to 24 months, only if they go to the big event and see the vision, because I don't think people understand the vision. They'll see it at the MGM in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, guys, I think I got a 10-pack, 20-pack almost filled up with just guests. It's just, I spoke at a Medicare conference. Justin Brock hosts a Medicare con. I spoke at the conference a few months ago. I've got people already from the Medicare conference that heard the news. I mean, I'm not connected with them in business, but just in the industry together. They reached out to me and said, hey, wow, big deal being bought by. So it's like, I didn't realize it, but it's kind of like a fad or a good thing to be bought by Integrity Marketing Group. I mean, right. I want to remember we were at the carrier meeting last December. Remember we had to present to the board and we had to present to the carriers our businesses. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, the board council of PHP Agency, which represents the four biggest basically companies within inside a company of PHP Agency, we had to present our numbers to the board. We had to present our numbers to the insurance carriers we do business with. And I don't know if you guys remember this. Remember one of the carriers asks, hey, I'm going to show this on the screen right now. Hey, what do you think about this company that's just swallowing up companies? I said, what are you talking about? Well, they just raised money, right? So right here, I'll show it. So Integrity announced a strategic investment from Silver Lake, okay, which is to accelerate growth as omnichannel insurtech leader, which is Integrity Marketing Group. So this company, Silver Lake, invested $1.2 billion into integrity marketing. Now, George and Jose, what did it mean for us to have an Oscar De La Hoya and a Greg Scherer and Mbina Partners and Atalaya Group invest $10 million into our insurance marketing into our financial marketing organization? right?
Big difference.
We finally got spell check on our brochures, man. Okay, we were finally able to, I think, afford a website developer. Gaytan and I were fired from the website IT department. It's another, in life, most people never inherit that kind of money. And in a business life, you don't see partners come and say, hey, think about how hard it is to get 10 million, 100 million, 200 million of your money. Say, here, I trust you so much with my legacy. I trust you with my wealth, right? You look at that on $1 billion scale of saying, here's $1 billion. Like, what other insurance marketing organization right now in America got infused over $1 billion in we were literally in the meeting. It's so interesting you brought that up, because I'm sitting there at that moment. I'm like, I don't even know what he's talking about. It was one of the CEOs or one of the vice presidents of one of the major insurance carriers that we do business with. Right. And I'm like, I didn't hear that, because it was announced. I saw the date on there, the December 9th. It was December 9th. We were there. So right at that time. Right. And they're looking at it and they're saying, hey, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Because now PHP, literally through the partnership of IMG, top compensation with every carrier of 495 carriers, every one of those partners at IMG has access to that top commission through each carrier. We have our PHP Declaration of Values and Principles, and says we believe in strength in numbers, right? So we're about to the technology, the AI. I think they have 150 billion data points. Like, we're doing the headquarters, the tour, and guys, for those of you guys that were not there, they literally show us a screen of all the different hacks that are happening every millisecond all over the world through all their different companies and their networks, and how much security they provide. Then they're showing us a screen of where their companies that they're partners with, where they're located, and the weather conditions, and what storms or hurricanes or tornadoes are coming, and if they need to evacuate or help or do that part. They had one of their companies they helped during a weather condition where they knew before the CEO of that company knew, and they were able to help that company. That just the backing of the IT, the technology, the product design team. We got a chance to meet one of their product design guys while we were there. We're literally custom products that that these major companies like Aflac, custom products that Aflac has designed just for IMG partners, CVS product, where people like, what do you mean CVS product? Like, we're sitting there in the room and we're like, what just happened right now? 400 other doors just open up in terms of offense. So it changed our business at that point. And I can't imagine where how that company is going to use those resources to make it easier to be an agent, to make our job easier, better, to be more efficient. So,
and just can I share another transparent moment about our decision with Patrick about our stock?
Yeah.
Right? I'm sharing that moment. Okay. Yes. So for everybody to know how committed we are, we had the opportunity to cash out some of our stock, all of our stock, and shake hands and, hey, continue on. And what did we all do?
Roll them.
Roll them.
Roll them. Roll the dice.
Roll them, baby. We're betting on us, baby.
And by the way, those checks that we could have gotten last week, pretty hefty. Yeah, seven-figure hefty.
7-figure checks.
We said, it's okay. It's all good.
Roll them.
We want that 7 figures to become 8 figures, 9 figures,
right. 10 figures. That's right.
Sapaula too, and this is because I was having a call with one of the guys from another company, one of the IMG companies, sister companies, and he said, yeah, we love the opportunity to be able to sell a piece of our business. Can you do that at PHP? And that's the beautiful part that people don't understand. Like, you're literally building a business that down the road, your business is worth 10, 50, $100 million and you say, hey, you know what? I've been doing this for a while. I'm happy. I want to take 25% off the table. Your business is a $100 million business. That's a $25 million check, you know, and you still have the legacy business. Like now that opportunity exists through that partnership, it's exciting. It's exciting.
You know, Matt, as we're talking about this, I think so many people never get a chance to see and have their vision stretch. And I think a lot of us bought into our first big events. Mine was in Orlando, Florida. So, Paulie, I don't know when your first big event was. And Pelayo, your event. Yeah. But at that point, your vision stretched to what's possible. And I think as we're weeks away from MGM, which is going to be the greatest event in the history of the company, PHP, especially after today. We had a chance to see the late great Kobe Bryant just a couple years ago at one of our events. Now we have Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, we know the back and forth, the interview that our CEO did with Kobe, it's phenomenal. And then you got Shaquille O'Neal going to be there, Layla Ali, the great Layla Ali, daughter of Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest fighters, one of the greatest athletes, women athletes, entrepreneur, businesswoman. Her mindset. Shaquille O'Neal, besides what he's done in the sports world. He owns like 150, I don't know how many, is it 5 guys or he owns restaurants, he owns multiple businesses and he's worth, I don't know, almost $1 billion. We have Nelly's going to open up. Sapaula, that takes us back to the club, man. And George, Nelly opening up, right, at this event here. And then you got, give me the other names here. We got Kurt Warner from the American Underdog, a Hall of Famer. Penn and Teller, who's known around the world as one of the best acts. The list goes on, guys. I mean, so I say that because for those of you guys that never had a chance to stretch your vision, my vision was stretched just 15 years ago when I went to an event. And I said, man, this is possible. This is why when we're having this conversation today about what's possible, and Matt, we're throwing out numbers about 7 figures, 8 figures, because our vision was stretched at one point. So the invitation to Vegas, if you don't know about it, it was life-changing for me many years ago. And today, I'm just as excited as I was when I went to my first big event because it changed my life. I wouldn't be here today. Matt, what was your first big event, man?
It was February 2015 at the Rio. And by the way, am I coming in choppy? Can you guys at least hear me?
You're a little choppy right now.
You look like a Picasso right now, but still handsome, brother. You got this. There's Picasso. Like your face is like images and triangles, but it's still, we can hear you though. We can hear you, Sapaula.
I like it. Picasso. I like it. But yeah, it was Sheena and I had been married less than PHP. So we were still not married when we came to PHP. So we came on board in January and then 6 weeks later, we're at PHP convention. But yeah, that was February. That was the New Breed convention. I think that's where Ricky Aguilar was also there, brand new too as well. He wasn't part of the company either, but I think we were brand new. He was just thinking about doing it, and so off to the races. The one that shocked me the most was remember when Patrick put us in blindfolds? He put us in blindfolds
with all the exotics,
and he walked us out. Then boom, right, and then a couple years later, what happens? We all own our own exotics.
Right. That's right.
From you having just got a new one, by the way. You just got a new one, by the way. Do it.
Yeah, I traded in my first Rolls Royce and the other one. So we got the Dawn. We convert. You know, the one Patrick had, he had a blue one. I got the white one. It's Dallas appropriate. You know, it's hot. It's hot here in Dallas.
Nice.
But when you guys out in town, we got to go.
Beauty, man.
Yeah. George, what do you excited big event with these speakers? I mean, the people that for us to compete for speaking time on stage.
Regarding the big event, and I don't know if you guys can hear me okay. Sounds like there's an echo on my end. Okay,
You're
cool.
Good.
Last night I was having a conversation with a couple, and we were listening to this while working out, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And he talked about how most people, the reason that they fail is because their goal is to be comfortable. And comfort and success don't go together, right? I want to have just enough. And he talked about, it was funny because he was talking about in the book, he says, when you're struggling financially, when you're comfortable and you go to a restaurant, at least you can go to a nice restaurant. He says, but you're still not there yet because all you can order is chicken. And I remember how many times we went to a restaurant and it's like, what do you want to eat? Chicken. And he said, you see the king crab legs, you see the Wagyu beef, you see all this, but next to it, it says MP, right? Market price. And you don't ask the server like, hey, how much is that king crab fillet with the blue crab on top? And how much is that dish? Oh, it's $173. Oh, you know what? I really feel like chicken. That's okay. I really didn't want that dish anyways. He says, you don't even ask what's the market price because it's embarrassing not to be able to afford that. And he says, but that's the part of becoming wealthy, that you can start to experience some of those luxuries. And then he talks about a pastor that was being criticized because he was teaching people about money and talking about being rich. And people said, you shouldn't talk about being rich. You shouldn't talk about money. You should just talk about God. And he says, I'm sorry, but how do you think churches are built? And how do you think we pay for missionaries to go do these things? And how do you think we help people? How do you think we feed people? No, that's a poor mentality. So he's talking about this mindset of how most people have this blueprint that, and there's so many of them, like making a lot of money is difficult. And they'll never say that, but they really believe that. Or you can't have you can't be rich and have a great family life. And because they really believe that, they create those conditions in their mind, and they have these unconscious blueprints. And all they're doing is following this blueprint all day long. And so I had a poor blueprint. And lastly, in the book, he talked about there's 3 levels of desire. There's I want, which is when you say I want this, all you're affirming in your life is that you don't have it. And number 2 is I choose this. Okay, well, you're making a decision at least. There's a decision being made. But number 3, the highest level of desire, I'm committed to this. And he says most people in life, they want something, but they're not committed to it. And all they're doing is playing defense. And he says, if you go play sports and you only play defense, can you ever win that game? No, you would lose. Doesn't matter if it's soccer, football, basketball, you can't win a game if you don't play offense. There's so many people right now that are playing defense. Like, what if I do this and I get fired? Or what if I do this and I don't have enough money? Or, I can't go this because of this. And all they're affirming, because that was me. I was a $2,000. I think I had a Saturn View. I was making $2,000 a month at Red Lobster. I'm confused as what I don't even have a vision for my life at that point. When people say, what's your vision? I'd say 2020. That's what do you mean? Like I have perfect eyesight, right? Not like what's your vision in life. That's a whole other question. So I'm broke. I got my job. I can't go because somebody's giving me a schedule and they're telling me you can't go. I can't go because my teachers, that are great people, but not financially free whatsoever, are telling me I can't go because I have to take this test. I can't go build my dreams and figure out my life and get to my breakthroughs because I have to take a test on English, which at that point, I'm not going to be an English teacher. And then I'm doing this real estate stuff and I'm building my life around, well, I can't go because it's Saturday and it's Sunday and I'm going to miss, open houses. And, there's just so many people, guys, that are watching this. They do not have a life that they want, but they fight so hard to keep it. They make all the excuses of why they can't do things, even though they have a life they don't want, that they wouldn't wish for their kids. I was having a conversation with Kevin Lawrence, and it's such a great book. It's Your Oxygen Mask First. And I enjoyed the book so much that I called him afterwards. I sent him an email and we got on a phone call. And the first line in this book, here's what the first line said. It's a powerful first line. It says, let me ask you this. Would you want someone you love to spend a lifetime living exactly as you do right now? And I just remember, man, like, no, I would not want somebody, I wouldn't want my son or my daughter, we're about to have a baby here in October. I wouldn't want them to have that life. Worried, stressed out, anxious, worried about what something's going to cost, having to think about price with every decision in my life, not being able to help the people I love, not being able to take a family vacation for 13 years, not being able to live where I want to live, living in a ghetto apartment because I had to save $200, not driving the car I wanted to drive, having to get a you know, a car that I didn't want to get because that's all I could afford, not being able to buy a house because I couldn't qualify because I didn't have a down payment, not understanding anything about money, what stocks, what do these wealthy people do that I don't do. I was ignorant, but I didn't want to stay ignorant. I wanted to change. And so I said no to my first big event. No. And thank God the person that invited me, they literally believed that me being at that event was more important than me being at Red Lobster or me being at my job or me being at school. And that's really what it comes down to. What do you think is more important in your life? If you think that job's going to change your life, by all means, stay at your job. But if you think that you need that breakthrough, you know, do you think your job will change your life at the pace you want it to? No. So he finally convinced me to go. And, you know, we paid, I don't know, for the hotel and ticket and everything, probably a few $100. And I was telling the guys yesterday, our taxes from last year, what we had to pay in taxes was $350,000. $350,000. That $350 event. Now what it's led to today, you know, and that's and there's a lot of people that, and this is a little bit different because some of the guys, maybe they're prospects and you're watching this. I had a guy that I challenged yesterday. He's a cool guy. I really like the guy. I hope he's listening. And he's a $250,000, $300,000 earner. And I'm trying to get him to come to convention. And he's like, you know, I can't. And I say, hey man, with all due respect, if you can't come to this event, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to lock in and spend time with you and develop you to that next level. You know, but in that world, some of these guys, when you make it, you have to be proud of how much progress you've made. But that's also the bottom of the top, you know, and you got to be humble too. If you think that 253, some people are paying what you make in a year, they're paying that in taxes. Mm-hmm. Like you know, some people, what you make in a year, they make in a week. Like you got it. That next level, man, requires you to empty the cup and say, I'm all in. I'll find a way of going there because I know there's more juice in life that I can do. So my first event changed my life, man. MGM's gonna change our life, and I'm excited to be there and experience it with you guys because we built this company to where it's at today, to where now it's getting, you know, industry recognition, worldwide recognition as the future of the insurance industry.
Well said, man. Well said. Sapaula, George, if I can add to that, man. You give a lot of value there, man. A lot of nuggets. It literally, and that, by the way, when George is speaking, all I'm thinking about is the evolution of George, because we've been running together for the last 12 years, and I've seen the evolution. And you know, it comes down to proximity, man. Proximity. You got to look at your circle right now and ask yourself this question: how are they helping you get ahead? So Paula, I think you've commented many times when you talk to people, you say, who's in your corner right now that's coaching you, mentoring you to get you to $250,000, $500,000, and $1 million? If you don't have that mentor, that proximity, what makes you think you're going to get there? And we heard a message from Brian last week. He talked about the ABCs that he heard from Jamie Dimon, which is a powerful message. He asked Jamie Dimon, what's your biggest fear today? And it's Brian's there with the co-founder of Home Depot, the co-founder of FedEx, the co-founders of Chick-fil-A. Talk about proximity. Who's in your circle, right? And then Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase, says, I'm afraid of the ABCs. What's the ABCs? Arrogance, bureaucracy, complacency. And when you don't separate yourself from that and your own ego and complacency, and surround yourself with $1 million mentors and leaders and industry leaders and people of faith, family, values, principles. We're just looking for the right people that want to go run and go change an industry. And along the way, Jim Rohn says it's not about you making $1 million, but about the person you need to become to make that million. Because along the way, the money's a byproduct. Money is a byproduct for where we're at today. It's a byproduct of everything we had to go through. All the sacrifices, all the hard work, the going to events, personally developing, hanging around people that stretch us. Our CEO, Patrick, who's challenged us to become better men in business, but also in family. It's proximity. Who's in your corner? So you got to always ask yourself that question. If you're not, and if you don't have that group, you got to be in an environment like an event, Vegas, to completely help shift your thinking, shift your mindset, shift your attitude from I can't do something big to I can do something big. And it's so powerful going to events. And if this is your shot, especially after the announcement, I mean, it couldn't be a better time for you to find a way to get yourself to Vegas. We're gonna have last event, 10,000 plus people. This could be a record event in attendance at the MGM Grand Arena where Nelly's gonna be opening up. This is the stage where, I don't know, Beyonce's performed, all the big headliners performed there, where De La Hoya's fought, Mike Tyson's fought in that stage, you name it. It's going to be a phenomenal event. You got to find a way to get to Las Vegas. If you're not there, family, friends, get them all there. This event could change your life. 12 months later, you can say, I became a industry leader, or 2 years later, I became who I wanted to become because of an event, just like it changed all of our lives. So proximity is key. Who's in your circle? This event can put you in the right circle. You're one handshake away from meeting the right person. And that's how, it's allowed us to become, successful and do some incredible things. But that's exciting, George. Excited to partner up next week or next couple of weeks in Vegas. I think we lost Sapaula, but he might come back.
Yeah. And for the people, Sapaula made a good point. And then I want to wrap with this. If Sapaula comes back, obviously we'll get his closing thoughts. When I came into the room and I saw Pat speaking, he says, we don't know who's the hungriest person in this room. And I was 18, 19. We don't know who's we have no idea who's the biggest thinker here. And guys, at that moment, I had there was nothing in my life that you can look at to affirm and say, hey, you're the biggest thinker. Maybe you feel that way right now. You're hearing Gaytan talk, you're inspired, or Sapaula, and you're inspired. And you're like, man, I want to be on these podcasts. We had Perez on this a couple of weeks ago. It meant the world to him to be able to be on a call with guys like you, And so if you're watching this, you're the next PHP story. We can't wait for you to tell your story. And you get your mom, like it was powerful what he said. He says, my mom got on there, and afterwards she was a single mom raising him. And so she's never said to him, and I know you were raised by a single mom that was an entrepreneur and drove you and your brothers and your sisters. So he says, George, my mom's never told me I'm proud of you, because she had to have such a high standard as like a father and a mother at the same time. He says it was the first time where she says, I'm proud of you. And this is a guy that was in February made $2,000, then he made $3,000, then he made $7,200, then he made $7,800, then he made $12,000. This month he's going to make $30,000, and he's going into MJ getting his ring. And just 6 months ago, barely made $1,000 in January, to now $30,000. There's not that many industries where your life can change that fast within 6 months, you guys, if you make that decision to change. So if you're getting on here and you're the brand newest person, sometimes you may have a success blueprint that says, well, you know what? The company's already big. You know what? They already got acquired. They already partnered with the IMG. The reason that we got here is to create more opportunities for people to get to hear it faster. Who's going to come in and make 7 figures? Sapaula's broke the record at 7 figures, first to 7 figures. Who's going to come in here and say, you know what, man, I see the business. I want to go on an 18, 24-month run, and I want to go make 7 figures. Everybody, the only reason records exist is so that somebody else can have that as a goal to break it. And so if you're that newest person, the partnership opportunity as to what's happening in the industry, it is more so for you today, where you can come in and be bigger than everybody in the company. And we have that mentality. That's so big because some companies, the person at the top says, no, I am the big dog. I am the biggest thinker. And when you got a company saying, hey, the biggest thinker hasn't even shown up yet. The biggest thinker hasn't made that decision. The biggest thinker, and here's the second part, the last part. There are so many people that will think that the conversation with like Sapaula's and Vargas and you guys, you and Marlene, that when we're together, because we compete all the time, like everybody's competing. The psychology of competition, we all want to be number one. We all want to be the closing speaker, a big event like Sapaula's were last year in front of 10,000 people, bringing all your MDs on stage. I looked at that and I said, man, I want to go compete for that next year, because that was an amazing, inspirational message. So we're going to compete for number one. That's not it. That's not a question. But here's the cool part about it. There's so much respect for each other. And the people at the top actually really like each other. Like we really like hanging out with, as much as we poke each other, we really like hanging out with each other. And there's so much respect at the top. And I think there's a lot of people that wish they had a cool group of people to run with that were humble but competitive, that were at the peak of their life today, not retired, golfing, chilling at the end of their life. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. They paid the price to be there. Great. But if you're building a business today, you want guys that are in the trenches with you today. And you have the best of the best in the industry in the trenches today. There may be some people that say, hey, I want to lock arms with you guys too. So anyways, back to you, Sapaula.
Hey, great message. And, just to close out this conversation, speaking of being in the trenches, I know, Pelayo, you were just with our CEO founder at his home in Fort Lauderdale just this past week. $25 million house, crazy for you guys to experience that. Listen, Jose's always got the fattest pads in the comment. I think Jose and Marlene Gaytan always got the fattest house, man. Those dream selling type of homes, because they're living a dream. They're just not talking about it. They're living a dream. And right now I'm here in Orlando, Florida with John Mason, an organization. That's why I'm rocking LMT right now. So
nice.
LMT, stop.
Nice.
About the announcement of ING acquiring PHP.
Love it.
That's awesome.
John, real quick. So speaking of one of the co-founders of PHP, Florida would be nothing.
Money Mace.
Now this guy here, John Mason, so former B-boy. And real quick, bro, 30 seconds. What are you most excited about? This new acquisition with PHP is one of the co-founders of the company. Florida would not be existent without you coming out to LA, seeing convention for the very first time, and next thing you know, Florida's here.
Yeah, this is
your vision and leadership.
This is what we talked about. This is what we dreamed of. It's a fact of where the company was to where it is, to more importantly where it's going. Us keeping our word every step of the way, and now the partnership with Integrity, just a lot more doors have even opened than before. So the opportunity to offer more products, opportunity to train our guys in a different way, to expand and actually, prove ourselves in as we say, a bigger fish in a bigger pond. So we're excited for the future, 100%.
Exactly. So we're excited about this big event coming up. I know you're excited about Nelly. So you're being a performing entertainer.
Yeah.
So his leadership team's right here, LMT in the house. I believe Dean Mason, he just showed me numbers. They're going to be the next senior marketing director with inside the company. Excited about that. And
nice.
He wants 100,000 to 250. But guys, I thank you so much for being part of this podcast, co-founders company. Patrick David, Jennifer David, thank you so much for having the vision to start this company, invest in this company. I want to say it's a thank you to you, how we perform and build this company for here going forward. It'll be ultimate lifelong thank you for changing our lives. I can't tell you, I'm getting all emotional about it right now. Tito, give me some tissue. But to see our lives, I hope Patrick David and Jennifer David, I hope that you see the fruits of you sticking with the decision, of you building a dream, good times, bad times, worse times, worser times, and good times, and everything that you've dreamed and prayed for and hoped for, that the hand of God has been on this company since inception. It's in our logo. And to see the men that you've raised in George Pelayo, the men you've raised in Jose and Marlene Gaytan, and to see that the families at the building, not just the businesses that they're creating, but the lives and the families in overlooked and underserved communities that now have a shot. This room is filled with overlooked and underserved multicultural kids that just, I want a shot. Your hierarchies, your organization are shot. So Patrick David, Jennifer David, thank you so much for this. And we're gonna take it. We know that we've got you for a minute, and but we know that we're ready to take this next chapter, PHP Agency.
That's right.
Shoulders that you've helped strengthen and create. So, Jose Gaytan, before I close off here, any final words on your end? Because I know George had shared his thoughts. Any final words from you?
I'll see you in Vegas, man. Get yourself, your whole family, your friends to Vegas. Don't make any excuses. Find reasons to go, not excuses not to go. And I promise you, your life will change.
With that being said, guys, we'll see you in Las Vegas here the next 3 weeks. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you book your tickets. Make sure you get your flight. Make sure you get your hotel. Do it today. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait for the last minute, because that's your old. If you procrastinated back in the day, that's your old self. Listen, you can't make new money with old habits. And I hope that you decide to make a change today to change your life, put you in the right, what was the word that Pelayo was using? Proximity. Put you in the right proximity to the right people. at the right time today. So that being said, on behalf of my co-founders and partners of PHP Agency, George Pelayo from Culver City, California, Jose Gaytan from Houston, Texas, and right now currently in Orlando, Florida, I'm your money smart guy. And make sure, by the way, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, PHP Agency, and watch the fun continue to grow and evolve. Till we meet again, continue to help people, continue to love people, and continue to change your lives today. We'll see you next week for the next podcast. Bye-bye, bye-bye.